What's going on, y'all? It's your boy 3 Stacks. I am so excited to showcase this deck to you guys. Oh, the hype is real. Oh my goodness. League format has begun, and guess what? I was never afraid of it. I'm actually very happy about League format because I feel like Konami knows a little bit something about 3 Stacks, and they must know that my favorite decks of all time are ritual decks. My favorite playstyle is ritual. My favorite mechanic is ritual. I love ritual, period. I don't care what nobody says. Ritual decks are the best. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not even going to argue with anybody. Ritual decks are the best. And I have played Herald of Perfection actually for about 11 years, if I'm not mistaken. I played it before we had Cyber Angel Benton, before we had Ritual Sanctuary, the new support. So as you can imagine, I played the deck when it was actually trash, when you had to use Advanced Ritual Art, Sin Nikatama. Come on, somebody knows what I'm talking about. Somebody's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time. Somebody's a veteran. Sin Nikatama from your deck to the grave to summon your Herald of Perfection. She's a cute little normal monster. She has pretty artwork. And then you'd end with like 3 fairies in your hand. And then he'd die anyways. It was just like horrible. When they released this girl right here, my pom-pom girl, bro, I almost cried. I think actually I did cry. Like, bro, when they released her, I felt like this was what I was missing. To this day, I've always felt that pom-pom girl was the missing piece to my Herald of Perfection deck. And pre-prep. Oh, that's my favorite card in the world, bro. I love pre-prep. It's my favorite spell. So when I saw pre-prep and Benton, Ritual Sanctuary, all those good cards, I thought to myself, my Herald of Perfection deck is actually going to be like a contender. It's gonna be something meta. I didn't think to myself, oh, I want everybody to start playing it. I believe that any deck that people overhype gets hit on the ban list purposely because they ban cards. Sometimes they don't ban it because it's good. They just ban it because everybody's playing it. And of course, if everybody's playing a deck, that's the only deck that's gonna top because everybody's playing it. If everybody was playing Paleozoics, they'd be banned right now because everybody's playing it. But anyways, I'm really rambling about this chick. But again, I do feel like she was the missing piece to my Herald of Perfection. And to those of you who are going to convert to playing Herald of Perfection for Link format, I do not have respect for you because I feel like if you think my deck is good now just because you can't summon from the extra deck, you really will never understand the potency of my deck, and you'll never understand its true power or capabilities. You'll never be able to tap into or unlock its latent potential because you didn't stick with it. I stuck with Heralds for 11 years. I deserve a freaking pin or something for Konami. I stuck with that deck when it was trash, and now it's broken. My deck is broken. My deck is the most powerful Link format contender in my personal opinion, and that's just me tooting my own horn. But anyways, without further ado, we're going to hop right into this deck profile. You guys know how I love Heralds, and I believe to this day, I guess I can't toot my horn, that I am a master of Herald of Perfection. I have found 37 different ways to play that same deck. I don't know where you can look on YouTube and find a channel that has 37 different builds on the same deck. Hello, somebody. You can find DDD Dave, right? I'm sure you guys know about DDD Dave. Do you think DDD Dave has 37 different builds on DDDs? Somehow, some way, I have found that many different ways to play the same deck. Hello, I played it for 11 years, bro. I have mastered this deck. And we are playing Herald of Ultimateness Timelords. So it's a really broken and spicy, saucy deck. Of course, it revolves around Ultimateness, and of course, the Timelords just give you that insane capacity for this deck. Like, oh, they just take you so far. But anyways, I've rambled too much. I'm just really excited. I'm sorry, you guys. 2 Herald of Ultimateness, 1 Saphira. These are the ritual monsters that I actually summon. And of course, we're playing 3 of my pom-pom girl. Ultimateness negates spells, traps, monster effects, and special summons with the plural, which means if you're playing a pendulum deck in Link format and you're actually able to Link summon and you try to pendulum summon for 2 or more, I negate the entire summon of all of them. Another prime example would be a spell or trap that, you know, no, let's screw a spell or trap. Let's say like somehow your opponent is able to summon 5 monsters at once. I can negate 1 fairy and negate the special summon of all 5 of those monsters. It's like solemn striking when pendulums were at full power before Link format, which was literally today. Let's say, for example, I'm playing Metaphors before Link format. We're not talking about Link format. Before today, Link format just started today. So let's say I'm playing Metaphors yesterday, and they pendulum summon for 5. I'm gonna discard 1 fairy. All 5 of those monsters are gone. Ultimateness is broken, fam. He's broken. He's so stupid. Sometimes you have to summon him and attack because you know you're playing True Dracos, and just at the offset chance that they might be able to attack over his defense, because he's at 3,000 defense, but if Diagram somehow hits the field, which just at the offset chance it does, Masterpiece will be at 3,250, so he can attack over him his defense by 250. Now, summoning him in attack sometimes is really clutch because you search your Honest automatically, and nothing gets over him then. It's really cool. I love Ultimateness, and obviously Saphira is too powerful in this deck. Your ultimate defender and your ultimate attacker, your sword and your shield. When you go Evil Swarm or Boros, discard a card from your opponent's hand. Then Saphira, discard a card from your opponent's hand. And of course, they're going to play a hand trap. Naturally, your opponent will start with 3 cards. Everybody's playing hand traps. There's some kind of hand trap they're playing, even if I don't know what it is. Just hand traps in general. And even if they're not playing hand traps, they only have 4 cards to play. And I can easily negate all 4 of those cards if all 4 of them are playable. You would have to have 4 playable cards, meaning they would have to be spells or normal summonable or special summonable monsters, which would get negated anyways. So I just think this deck is broken. You go first, you win. You summon Ultimateness, it's almost like unreal. And he's broken when you summon him going second because they can't stop his summon. They can't chain dimensional barrier. They can't warning. They can't do anything. If you think I'm lying, read his ritual spell and read it out loud. Alright, moving forward to the broken part of this deck, well, the more broken. For the main deck, we're playing 3 Time Lords. I'm sorry, nothing's more broken than him. I take back the words I just said. Moving forward to the less broken part of the deck. 3 Time Lords, the OG, Triple OG, Gangsta, Matayan. This guy is not new, but these Time Lords are new. These are the ones that came out giving more support. There's one other Time Lord that like brings your dude out at 4,000, but I don't really like him that much. Anyway, and you have to have like 10 monsters. Anyways, old card. I don't even know if you guys know who I'm talking about. But anyways, Matayan. I wanted to play this guy over the Wind Time Lord because it just gives you 4,000 light points. I feel like, that's kind of meh. If you play this deck right, you'll never even be losing like that. But anyways, Matayan, this guy has the built-in protection. They have the built-in protection that he has. Basically, he's the original, so their effects are like his. Can't be targeted or destroyed. No, I'm sorry. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Not can't be targeted. And then when he declares an attack, if he battles, you know, at the end of the battle phase, you can return all monsters except for him. So all other monsters on the field, including yours and your opponent's, to the hand. Inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each. So let's say I bounce 2 of my monsters and 5 of your opponents. That is going to be 2,100 damage. Yeah, 7 times 3, 2,100 damage, in addition to clearing the entire field. I just think that's broken. I love this guy. He helps me going second. This deck is powerful going first or second, which I really do like. Having him, it's being searchable. It's just so freaking clutch. And we're also playing the other 2 Time Lords in my build, which is Zephion. This guy is really broken playing against True Draco. Shuffle their back rows back into the deck. When he goes to the graveyard, draw a card. I love the draw effect. I really do. I love him. And I'll recycle my Time Lords. Like, they have their own effects, which some people mistake this, but they have to be face up on the field and you shuffle them into your deck during your standbys. That effect, if you read it, that is their actual effect. So they have to be on the field for that to activate. And it's kind of like a cost. You could think of it because, think of it, you're normal summoning a huge monster that can't be destroyed. Of course, it's going to have a cost. And their cost is you return them to the deck during the standbys. Your next standby, I believe. And that's pretty cool because you just get to keep looping with your time mating, keep searching them out, use them, put them back, use them, put them back. It's really cool. You can even start by normal summoning them first if you control no monsters, and then ritual summon and, you know, do your shenanigans. Really awesome. I love this guy a lot. Just the draw effect is really broken. And I even put them back from my graveyard to my deck, like I was saying with Daigoso Emerald, if I burn out of them, because I like them a lot. And I play 1 Kamon. Kamon is a guaranteed out for any problematic card. What he does, like, all of their effects activate when they battle, which is kind of weird, but they can't be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage anyways. But when he battles, you can shuffle 1 card your opponent controls into the deck, and your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response. They can't negate it. You can't do anything. I don't care how mad you are, how salty you are. You can't do anything. Your card's getting shuffled. I'm getting rid of it. Whatever it is. I like this guy a lot. I was actually considering, this is kind of random, but I was considering playing Cyber Angel Dakini in this build. Now, let me tell you guys something very unique about this card, which I slept on myself and I never realized. Dakini is similar to Apocli for Towers. He affects the player and not the monster itself. So what Dakini says is when he's ritual summoned, you can force your opponent to send 1 monster he controls to the graveyard. So what that means is the monster itself, even if it's unaffected by monster effects, it's not going to the graveyard due to Dakini's effect. It's actually going to the graveyard due to your opponent. It's Hard to explain, but basically Dakini forces your opponent to send his own monster to the graveyard. Dakini himself was never the one who sent it to the graveyard. Why am I saying that? Why am I even explaining this to you guys? I'm gonna answer the question for you. The True Draco Masterpiece, the True Draco Slayer Masterpiece, you know, the magnificent level 9 huge body beat stick that's unaffected by stuff. You can ritual summon your Cyber Angel Dakini, send him to the graveyard, and just attack. And it's so funny, like this cute little chick or guy, man, woman, whatever it is, clears the masterpiece like it was never anything. Really clutch. And the funny thing also is when you ritual summon for him and they try to chain masterpiece effect to pop him, you just banish this from your graveyard. He doesn't die, and it guarantees that you clear the masterpiece. So this is something you can side deck or main deck if you're playing my deck, Ritual Sanctuary. You know, if you're playing any Cyber Angel variant, I play Herald of Perfection more pure, but I still do play, you know, the 3 Bentons. So I could incorporate simply a Machine Angel Ritual and a Dakini just to have the out to Masterpiece. That was something I just wanted to share if, you know, anybody actually does play Cyber Angels. But anyways, that's it for the Time Lords. I feel like I'm rambling. Moving forward, we are playing 3 copies of Time Maiden. This chick is really, really broken. And also, I have 18 ways to get to her. Why am I saying that? I have 15 ways to get into my 3 Bentons, so technically I'm running 18 copies of Benton. So I actually have 21 ways to get into my Time Maiden. Benton searches any light fairy. It doesn't have to have a level, nothing like that. Searches any light fairy. And what is Time Maiden? What? Oh, she's a light fairy. So, what's really cool about this deck is you search your Time Maiden, which in turn searches for your Time Lords. So, even though I'm only playing 3 Time Lords, and some people might say, oh, you have to play more Time Lords or you'll never see them. Not true. I search them like crazy, and they're fairies. So, even if I don't want to use their effects, I can discard them from the hand using Herald of Ultimateness to negate any card effect or special summon. So, Time Maiden is also a +1. I look at this like a pre-prep or a Pot of Desires. What am I saying? Special Time Maiden. Tribute her, use her effect, search for a Time Lord, right? That's 1 card, so Time Maiden paid for herself. Use Ritual Sanctuary, shuffle 1 spell, just 1, so you can play Terraforming. Search Ritual Sanctuary, activate it, put Terraforming back, special summon her again. If you don't know what Ritual Sanctuary does, now you do. Special summon her again, tribute her, use her effect, search out a 2nd Time Lord. What do you have now? A +1. That is why I played 3 Time Maidens, because she is like pre-prep, Pot of Desire, stuff like that. She gives me 2 fairies for the price of 1. At bare minimum, if I choose not to normal summon these guys, I have 2 fairies for the price of 1, so I got a +1, and I will end, instead of having 5 fairies in my hand, I will now end with 6 fairies, which means I can match my opponent card for card and he'll never win, which is really, really broken. So I do love Time Maiden because, again, she's a +1 in this deck, and I don't think anybody knew that until now, so I'm sharing something for you guys to take this knowledge and run with it. Try to build out for yourselves. And she also has the effect where you can banish her from the graveyard and special summon a Time Lord from your deck. Now, I never use that effect, but it's nice to have, you know, just in case you're in that situation where you're not going to special summon anyways. You don't have the resources to ritual summon. You don't have stick chair, stuff like that. You don't have Ritual Sanctuary. You don't have a soul charge. You're just going to use her effect, tribute her, you know, special summon a Time Lord after searching. So, like, you can, for example, special summon her, tribute her, search for this guy, for example, normal summon him, then banish her from the graveyard, special summon another one, and then attack with both of them, use both their effects, and, you know, just clear a bunch of cards from the field. Time Maiden is really broken. At bare minimum, what this engine is fairies. So you still discard it. That's the bare minimum. So that's what I love about this deck and how abusive it is and how there's so many different ways you can play it. This deck is so flexible. Like any Herald variant to me is so flexible, especially because of Pom Pom Girl. So they're just very searchable if you don't want to use the Time Lords, but having access to these huge boss monsters is just ridiculous. Like, they out stuff that you couldn't out to begin with, and they do help you going second. So I just really, really love the synergy, and they're level 10s. So it just gives you a lot more fodder for your Herald of Ultimateness, so it's a lot easier to ritual summon him, because sometimes I'll just use him to summon himself at bare minimum, and then, like, you know, I'll get my +1 somehow, some way to get extra fairies. And sometimes I use double Benton, which is really broken, because when you tribute 2 Bentons to ritual summon this guy, you literally search for your staff and your throne, and then you go stick chair combo, which is broken. You just get your plus again. Really ridiculous. This deck plus is so hard. It's just so stupid. Like, this deck, think of how Necros was when it was at full power. Now we all know Necros is just so stupid. Like Necros was just a broken deck, and it was like you hit it on the ban list so many times, and finally people just gave up on the deck. And even to this day, Necros are consistent. This deck is like Necros times 1,000. Stick chair for days. You search your pieces. You go and break boards. It's just stupid, and the boards you make are so hard to out. 3 handy manis. Obviously, you're playing rituals. You want to search for your ritual spell for Ultimateness, or you want to search for Benton if you already have a Pom-Pom Girl in hand. Search for your second Pom-Pom Girl. Tribute 2 of her to summon your Herald of Ultimateness. He basically pays for himself. I really like it. 2 copies of Honest. Honest is such a skillful card. He is a searchable out to any monsters, even a for example, a Masterpiece or a Ultimate Cannon, Ultimate Falcon, Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon, for example. Honest, just attack right over it. Because just because a monster is unaffected by card effects does not mean you can't attack over it. That's another reason why Utopia the Lightning is such a broken card. Because Utopia the Lightning basically attacks over monsters that are unaffected by everything else. And that's what Honest basically lets me do. It lets me just attack over any problematic monster, including True Draco Masterpiece. Just attack over him, even if he was affected by monsters. Unaffected. Honest does not affect him at all. It's just really, really broken. And of course, I'm playing the Barrier Statue. Even though True Dracos is a thing, I don't care. Every other deck loses to this. And if you're playing Light Sworns, even though you can special summon your light monsters, which really you can't, because I'm going to negate those summons with Herald of Ultimateness. But this also cock blocks the zombie engine. No Unizombie, no Mizuki, no Gozuki, and no Shiranai Solitaire. So having Herald of Ultimateness with this is still a clutch lockdown when you're playing Light Sworns. And this is game 1, so you don't have a choice. You can't side out your Barrier Statue. Obviously, game 2, you're going to side it out because Light Sworns, you don't have a lot of lights. But you can negate the special summons of the Light Sworns with your Herald of Ultimateness. The only thing that becomes difficult sometimes is if they set up their chain links in a way where you can't negate their most important card. And that's what Light Sworns can do. I give them that. I played Light Sworns. I know what they do. If they mill a certain amount of cards, they can set up their chain links to where you can only negate the card that's not going to hurt you. And then the card that they really needed, they still get it. So that's something just to keep in mind, food for thought, if you know how to play. And 1 Whiptail. This might throw a lot of people off, but I'm playing basically Herald of Ultimateness Timelords with a baby minor Zodiac engine in the form of 1 Whiptail. I will explain this right now, literally. You guys know how creative we are with our deck profiles. I'm sure that you guys have seen some just ridiculously powerful decks on this channel. Decks that have never been tried before. So I wanted to have more spice, more hot sauce, you know, to my deck. I wanted it to be the most creative Herald of Ultimateness build you guys have ever seen. So here's the bare minimum you can do with your Whiptail. Well, I'm going to show you guys a small combo. Let's say, for example, you drew the Whiptail. Oh, I bricked. Okay, so you normal the Whiptail. Special summon Dryden. Using your 1 extra deck slot, because we're in Link format, so please don't try to say that to me. Use the Zodiac Dryden. Detach the Whiptail. This is in your graveyard now. Pop a problematic card that was in your way. And on top of your Dryden, special summon Zodiac Chaka 9. Detach Dryden, special Dryden from the graveyard. She is now in your monster zone, and Zodiac Chaka 9 is in your Link extra deck zone, or whatever you call it. And then you can just special summon your Zodiac Tiger Mortar, detach for her effect, and reattach the Whiptail to Dryden. Look what you got off of 1 Zodiac Whiptail. Pretty impressive, right? And if somehow this lives, you can special a secondary Trident. Really, really cool. And that was just a quick, cool little combo that just you can do with the 1 Whiptail. But there's other reasons for playing the Whiptail. It's just a searchable target for when I hard summon my Broad Bull. The reason why I'm playing the Broad Bull and the Tiger Mortar and the Chaka 9 is because they're easy to hard summon just to summon Dryden. I wanted to play Dryden in this build because I felt like popping a diagram would be a lot better than wasting, a fairy on negating the diagram, especially, because I might want to negate something else that's very important, and I don't want to use Dryden. Maybe Dryden couldn't negate it. Obviously, Dryden can't negate the activation of, Soul Charge, for example. So if I have 1 fairy in hand, and my opponent has Diagram and Soul Charge, if I negate the Diagram with Herald of Ultimateness, when they play Soul Charge, Dryden can't do anything. So I just like that Dryden clears cards and helps me to not waste resources on it. So I just love Dryden. I told you guys in my other profile, she's such a skillful card. Your skill level depicts how powerful this card is. If you suck, Dryden's always going to suck. But if you're a good player, Dryden will always come through with the clutch every time. This is the final monster, the 1 Zodiac Whiptail. Innovation, y'all. And then also, moving forward to the spells, we are playing the preps. These are the most broken spells in this deck. You have to play them. Every single one of these is a +1. Even this. I can't wait till this comes back to 3. 3 ties. This at bare minimum, if your opponent can special summon, if we're playing Light Sworns, you can target your Manju, for example, special summon Star Seraph Scepter, and special summon your Honest. And then what happens then is you get a search off of your Scepter, and you get your Sovereignty to your hand, and then bounce Honest back to your hand. And now you have 2 fairies. So this is a +1. That's why I like ties. I love all my spells. This deck just pluses, pluses, pluses. You have a lot of +1s. Most decks have like 1 +1, right? You have so many +1s that naturally you end with ridiculous amounts of cards in your hand. And it's really cool. It helps to basically proportionate all of your resources for your Ultimateness, because Ultimateness obviously is a big guy, and sometimes you need to sacrifice quite a few resources to summon him, but he's always worth it, especially because they can't stop his summon anyways. So he's gonna hit the field like an Egyptian god. Then we're playing 3 Foolish Burial Goods. This is just so clutch. I love it. It's basically 4 upstarts. That's how you can look at it at bare minimum. Foolish Burial Goods also helps me to load my Graven spells. So I'm playing 3 copies of Las Vegas, and this helps me to load my grave with spells, because let's say, for example, I have a Star Seraph Scepter in graveyard, and I have a Star Seraph Sovereignty in my hand. And this has actually happened to me before. This is why I'm explaining to you. Scepter, you know, he's in the graveyard, right? I have Sovereignty in hand, which I search. I have 2 spells engraved. Let's say, just for example, let's just throw some random spells out there. Let's say my 2 terraformings are in the graveyard, right? So these 2 are in the graveyard. You draw Foolish Burial Goods. You activate Foolish Burial Goods. You can send another Foolish Burial Goods from your deck to your grave. You now have 4 spells in your grave, literally because this 1 spell fixed that. So this became a Monster Reborn. Now you have 4 spells. Recycle those 4, right? Especially this guy uses effect Chain. It's broken. Like, Foolish Burial Goods does more than just send Metal Foes Fusion. But yes, it does turn Metal Foes Fusion into a bigger engine than it was before. Because in the past, I played Metal Foes Fusion just at the chance that you would draw it and discard it with Ritual Sanctuary, which is another broken way to use the Metal Foes Fusion. You know, use Ritual Sanctuary, discard Metal Foes, search for Benton, put this back, draw pre-prep. It's stupid. Really good. But Foolish Burial Goods is just a whole nother engine. This deck has mad consistency, and it has tons of ways, alternative ways to get to the same thing. So you have tons of engines and lots of ways to deck in and dig for your combo pieces. We're also playing 2 copies of Optimus Prime to complement the 3 Las Vegas. And then for ritual spells, I play 1 Oracle of the Herald. You can't negate this ever. Can't do anything about it. You can't even chain Max C. You can't, bro. I love this card. No, you can't. Don't tell me that you can. You're lying. And 1 Hymn of Light. I know this seems very weird that I'm only playing 2 ritual spells. It works so good. It works. I'm telling you, it works. You have so many different ways to get to your ritual spells, and it's better to search them out than to draw them, because if you draw them, you'll kind of break. Like, especially because I'm not playing 1 ritual monster, I'm playing 2 different ritual monsters with 2 different ritual spells. You never want to draw the missing rituals. Like, for example, you never want to draw Oracle when you have Saphira in your hand. And same thing, vice versa. You never want to draw Hymn of Light when you have Ultimateness in your hand. So that is my reason for bumping both of these rituals down to 1 each. And what is so broken about Ritual Sanctuary is you put these back into your deck anyways. Then you pre-prep for it, or you search for it off of Manju, off of Ritual Sanctuary, off of your regular prep. It's just so stupid. Like, I love it. This works. I'm telling you, it works. And I knew that people would be thrown off when they saw that I only played 1 Oracle of the Herald and 1 Hymn of Light. 1 ritual for each of my ritual monsters. People are like, what are you doing? This doesn't work. Yes, it does. You're talking to the master, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. This is perfect. If you play 2 Oracles of the Herald, you will find yourself drawing this a little bit too often, especially because you don't ever go double Ultimateness. This isn't like Herald of Perfection, where you can draw double Dawn and you can do double Herald. You don't ever want to go double Ultimateness. It's too hard to summon him. So you only ever want to ritual summon him 1 time. And if he dies, you just put his ritual spell back into the deck with Ritual Sanctuary, activate pre-prep, add the ritual spell from the deck to the hand, and then you can use pre-prep's effect to add Ultimateness from your deck or your graveyard back to your hand. So pre-prep recycles Ultimateness. You think I'm lying? Bro, I'll do some test hands when I get some time just to show you guys how this deck works. It's really broken and I love it a lot. We're also playing 1 Soul Charge and 1 Metal Foes Fusion to sum up the main deck. Really, really broken. I'm so excited. Like, this deck is just broken. Like, it's hard to explain it, but it's just so broken. I actually surprised myself when I built this deck. Like, I just didn't know I had it in me. All right, anyways, move forward to the extra deck. 2 Resource Management, assistant manager, and general manager. This is how you maintain all of your resources consistently, making sure that you never burn out of anything. We also play 2 copies of Roadkill, 1 Chicago Bulls, 1 Khan from the Jungle Book, and 1 Baby Buku. I play a small zoo engine in just the form of 5, and some people might say, why are you playing zoos? I already explained you. The only reason why I'm playing these zoos is just to summon Roadkill. If I could summon her without using these, I would not play these at all. But you have to... Who the heck is ever going to use 4 level 4s to overlay into her? I'm not. I know I'm not. So you want to summon her using the Zodiacs. So the cool thing with the Zodiac Chakanine, which I call aka Baby Buku, because she looks like a Bumbuku to me. She's a raccoon, obviously. Bumbuku. Never mind. I'm going too far. Anyways, Baby Buku, and also Khan from the Jungle Book. These are additional Star Seraph targets. Now the cool thing is, if you don't really need to discard cards from your opponent's hand, for example, if you have 5 fairies in your hand or more, you don't really need to use Ouroboros to discard a card from your opponent's hand, because you already know I can match every card your opponent has. Like, I'm going to be able to match every single card you have, so I don't have to worry about discarding a card from your hand. Because the thing with Ouroboros, what makes him so clutch, is sometimes I have 4 fairies in hand, right? And my opponent used a hand trap, so he has 5. And I'm like, okay. No, he has 4 right now, but he's going to draw his 5th card next turn. I'm sitting here like, okay, well, I can negate 4 cards out of his hand, but if that one last card he has in his hand is a Raigeki, I'm done for. So what I like to do is make sure that I can match my opponent card for card. So Ouroboros allows me to fix that problem. Like I said, if I have 4 fairies in my hand and my opponent has 5 cards, I'm going to use Ouroboros to put him at 4. So now he has exactly the same number of cards. When you're playing Herald, it's dangerous if you have the same number of cards as them. If you have the same number of cards in your hand as the opponent, who's the Herald player, as me, 3 stacks, if you ever play me and I have the same number of cards in your hand, you're in trouble. Because you can't play at all. Like when I say you literally cannot play, every single card in your hand can't be played because it's going to get negated. Now, vice versa. If I have 3 cards in my hand and you have 6, I'm in trouble because I can only negate half of your hand. That's why I love playing the Roadkill, because she gives me that additional that I could not get rid of anyways, you know, that additional card that I couldn't clear out because I only had 3 fairies, for example. So I love Roadkill a lot. It's just so clutch. And sometimes I have more cards in my hand than my opponent does, and it's like a walk in the park. It's almost like I feel like when I won, I never worked for it. But I think I rambled a little bit too long. I was talking about the Star Seraphs. So when you go stick chair, you have to go into an XYZ that requires 3 or more materials in order to resolve the effect of Scepter, you know, to pop a card and draw. It doesn't have to require 3 or more materials. It just has to be an XYZ monster that used 3 or more materials for its XYZ summon. So that's why Chakanine is able to do that, because she says 2 or more level 4s. So if you use 3 to summon her, you can use 2 sticks and a scepter, and you know, you can still overlay for the Chakanine and then pop a card, draw a card. And then, for example, if a Zodiac Trident was in the graveyard, you can detach for her effect, revive your Trident, and then overlay Broad Bull, search the Whip Tail, put it under Trident, stuff like that. So these are also cool ways, like, you know, for you to stick chair. You can stick chair and then go straight into Zeus, which is really cool. And it also throws people off, because when you play Star Seraphs, most people expect, oh Lord, Ouroboros. They even lay out their hands and like get the dice for you, but then you're like, nah, Tiger Mortar. Really cool. And I love the Tiger Mortar as well, because I have Tiger Mortared and put a XYZ material under my Daigoso Emerald just to make sure I can use his effect for the 3rd time. It's really broken. I love Tiger Mortar. She is honestly one of the most abusive Zodiacs. And of course, we're playing Chicago Bulls because he's the easiest one to summon. 2 level 4s and you search your Whiptail. Then you just special summon your Trident right on top of that. It's just really, really cool. I love the skillful interactions that you get with the Zeus. And it throws people off sometimes because like they never know what you're playing. Like nobody will ever know what this deck is, ever. Unless you watch my deck profile. And of course, we're playing this small little Satellarknight package. Deltros and Diamond. Diamond, I'm putting him in now because I feel like Lightsworns are making a comeback. Minerva's so easy to access. A lot of people are like, you know what, I'm building Minerva Lightsworns. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to summon this guy and good luck. Evil Swarm Ouroboros for when you're going first. I really love this guy. He's one of my favorite cards. Banishing is really clutch too, because there are cards in your opponent's grave, like the one rat, for example, or just other great cards in your opponent's grave that they recur over and over and over and over, and you banish it out of rotation. They never get to get it back. Really cool. I just love Ouroboros. Also, Dweller. Dweller is a XYZ staple right now. If you're not playing Dweller, you just better pick one up for $1. You have to play Dweller. Excuse me. Tornado Dragon, just a generic staple. Gagaga Samurai to make up for the missing damage. I have a lot of free turns. When I go first, you know, my opponent goes seconds. I negate every card in his hand. The problem that I have now is I don't have enough damage on board, so I just overlay into Gaga Samurai, use my 1 Link Monster Zone, and then, you know, special summon from the graveyard off of Ritual Sanctuary, have my Ultimateness or my Saphira attack. Really clutch. Like it a lot. And finally, for the last 2 XYZs, Baby Pom Pom Girl for drawing, and also Starleech Paladynamo for drawing. I like when he leaves the field, you get to draw. And he also lets you bait certain monster effects, because like if you don't negate him, he's going to negate you. So I really like him. And there are alternative methods to turn off your barrier statue if you need to. Moving forward to my extra deck. My side deck. I play 3 raw spear molds. I play it in every single build. No matter what Herald build I'm playing, I play 3 raw spear molds. I believe firmly in raw spear mode being like a side deck staple. Most people say it's trash, and I don't really see it being played too heavily, but I'm never going to cut this ever. I'm never going to cut it to 2 or 1. I'm always going to play 3. It's just me. Like, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh way too long, and I've played so many weird random rogue decks at tournaments where I'm like, how the heck did you summon so many monsters? Raw spear mode. And then we're playing 3 Kaijus. We're also playing 2 Slumbers, 2 Dark Holes. And even though you have the 3 Kaijus, you can summon Daigoso Emerald, put your Kaijus back, Slumber again. And of course, double Dank Hole, 1 Raigeki, and then all the rest of the board wipes are Mirror Forces. I like the Mirror Forces. The reason why Mirror Forces are so good in my deck, and I'm not talking about just any deck, I'm talking about in my Herald of Perfection deck or Herald of Ultimateness, is because most people assume my deck is pure spells. So when I set something in my back row, they never pay any mind to it because they assume it's just, oh, this guy's just setting a bait. He's trying to make me think he plays strikes. I know he doesn't play strikes. His deck is all spells. Mirror Force. And it's happened so many times where people just never bother with it. Like, they never worry about my back row. They don't even ask me if I have a response when they're special summoning because they assume I just don't have a strike. And then I Mirror Force the crap out of them. That's why I love Mirror Force in this deck. You can only get away with the surprise Mirror Force in this deck because it is all spells. It's very true. My deck is all spells. There's no traps. But then when I side deck, I throw people off. I really love it. So that's the deck profile. I'm sorry if I rambled a little bit too much. I am very excited, obviously, for this deck. And I'm excited to showcase it to you guys and to one of my subscribers who asked me 4 days ago for this deck profile. I'm glad that I can finally present it to you because I love you guys and I want to, you know, fulfill every request you make of me and do whatever you ask that's in my power because I care about my subscribers. You guys are not just numbers. You guys are human beings, and you're also duelists. You're part of the Yu-Gi-Oh community, so I care about you guys in more ways than one. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Jesus loves you very, very much. Y'all have a wonderful day, a beautiful day, in fact, and I hope to hear from you soon. Peace.